Hey everyone, I'm Chris, and this is Cue the Credits. Welcome back to Cue the Credits, the home of everything physical media, boutique Blu-rays, and the art of collecting. We are cemented in spooky season now, right in the middle of October, and today's title is no different. We're going to be diving headfirst into one of the most chaotic, punk-fueled zombie flicks ever made, and that is The Return of the Living Dead. Arrow Video have just dropped this brand new 4K limited edition. So we're going to take a look at the packaging, we're going to check out the 4K restoration, and we're going to see how this cult classic holds up in 2025, 40 years after it was originally released. If you caught my Night of the Living Dead 1990 video, my Spawn video, you'll know how much I've been enjoying these horror re-releases, especially from Arrow. Now you're probably going to question, is Spawn a horror film? And that CGI makes it a horror film. But honestly, this one might be the most fun of the bunch. So grab a drink, make sure it's not a mysterious canister of gas, and let's get into it. Released in 1985 and directed by Dan O'Bannon, The Return of the Living Dead is the punk rock cousin to George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. It takes the undead genre, turns it completely on its head, and delivers something that is equal parts hilarious, grotesque, and downright iconic. This is the movie that gave us fast-moving zombies. Sorry, 28 days later, it's already been done. Talking zombies, brains as a craving, and then also just one of the most chaotic third acts that you'll see in a movie in the last 40 years. You've got an absolutely stacked cast, all delivering totally over the top, hammy performances that feel more akin to like a midnight C-movie drive-in than it does to a relatively high acclaim zombie movie. But it is pure 80s horror energy. Leather jackets, mohawk, graffiti, just all of the things that you want from like this punk era, along with an absolutely blinding soundtrack. And to give a slightly brief overview of Return of the Living Dead, if you've never seen it, it lives in a world where Night of the Living Dead was a true story, but actually everything that we saw in the movie was totally fabricated. It was a totally different incident that happened, and the actual incident that happened has a connection to the characters in this film. Something happens, someone opens something, and then chaos ensues. But I don't want to ruin anything for you because this is an absolutely wild ride. So let's get into the unboxing. Getting right into the front cover here, we've got this wonderful newly commissioned artwork by Orlando Aracena with the zombie with the mohawk, eating some brains there. I love this striking colorway. Honestly, this artwork is gorgeous. Onto the spine, same font and artwork there with a couple of arrows and MGM signs, and then finally onto the back here for the brief synopsis, and then all of these special features, which is absolutely stacked on this release, and then finally some tech specs there. This is a Region B release just on the Blu-ray. The 4K is region free. This Blu-ray, as noted, is a limited edition exclusive. So let's just take off this slip here. We get the same artwork, just there, inside, and then that, and this artwork like transitions around the full slip. And then on the back, we've got some more zombies there. It looks just gorgeous. So let's get into the release. We get a small booklet here, which we've got the tar man eating some brains there, the Return of the Living Dead, and nothing on the back. Then, as always with these Arrow releases, we get a couple of different interviews, and then we get production credits on the back. It's a nice little, we get a little comic as well, which is really nice. And then all of the production credits there, and some zombies. This is a 38-page booklet, so a nice little booklet there. Then we also get a wonderful double-sided poster with one side sporting the newly commissioned artwork by Orlando Aracena, and then the other side sporting the classic poster, which just looks so rad. And they're back from the grave and ready to party. Honestly, I don't know which side I like more. This is a nice little addition there. Finally, onto the disc. I've swapped over the artwork so you can see the alternative artwork, which is of course the classic version. You get a different font on the side and then different font and text colors on the back. Obviously you can have Orlando's newly commissioned artwork, which you see on the slip. I think it is nice that you've got the new artwork on the slips, and then you can have the old artwork in the actual insert. Opening it up, we have got that new artwork again on disc 1, which is the UHD disc, and then we've got the rear artwork from the actual hard case on the back of that, and that's that Blu-ray disc. This is the More Brains, so Return to the Living Dead. And there you have it. Just another shot at that beautiful artwork there. It is a beautiful release, right? I'm really glad that we got the hard box, like bigger limited edition for this, with all the kind of gumph to it, because there's a lot that needs to be said about this film. But onto the actual discs themselves and the restoration. Picture-wise, this new 4K restoration is absolutely gorgeous. I have got the previously released Blu-ray somewhere, pretty sure it's in the loft, and I never saw that as a bad transfer, but now watching this 4K one, I was like, oh my god, were we really watching it like that? But this is a 4K restoration from the original camera negative, so you can really see all of that grain detail and those colours pop with Dolby Vision and the HDR10 support. I think this film's visual style really lends itself to having that extra high dynamic range, even when it's just smoke coming from a chimney, or it's you seeing all of the undead that are mostly in semi-dimly lit environments and covered in mud for a lot of it. Touching on those darker scenes within like certain bits of the mortuary and definitely the graveyard, you get a wonderful level of clarity from this 4K restoration that just wasn't really there before, especially in lower quality transfers like DVD. You can see the specific gravestones and writing now, and it just adds that extra level of clarity. Along with obviously grain being restored, we've got nothing being scrubbed out and cleaned up and making like looking polished. This looks like a gritty 80s film the way it absolutely should do. As for audio options, you get the original lossless mono track as well as a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 mix. It is noted on this release the song Deadbeat Dance by The Damned has been removed, and this is due to licensing rights outside of Arrow's control. It would have been nice to have like the full original movie. It's a little bit frustrating that they couldn't work out those licensing rights, but it isn't glaring. My other half watched it for the first time and didn't have a clue that it was missing a specific song. With that being said, the 5.1 track is absolutely immersive. It's not on the same level as, for example, Spawn was, because that track is just a next level from Arrow, but it is still really hard hitting. The thunder roaring through, the rain sounds throughout the cemetery, the moaning of the zombies, the clattering of windows breaking, and brains being eaten out of someone's skull. They properly fill up the room and give you that full horror experience. The soundtrack is also absolutely great. It embodies that 80s punk, but also gives us a absolutely wonderful synth title track that is just a bop. Like, I had the menu on and I was just like, oh yeah, this is a good time. And on to the actual film itself as a brief little review. It is chaotic genius. It knows exactly what it is. It is cut from the same cloth as Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, but this cloth got cut off and ended up in a puddle. The blend of practical effects and just general low budget works absolutely perfectly here. The animatronics look great, but they still hold that like mid-80s feel, and the Tarman looks better than ever in 4K, from face melting off right at the start to just the general movements. It's genuinely a little bit creepy, but also has a little bit of a funny charm, but it doesn't stop looking brilliant. And you also know nowadays if someone tried to do that, it would just be CG slop, and it's just really nice to see it on screen. Say it with me, everyone: practical effects. This is one of those films that knows it's ridiculous. It's not trying to be serious. It's not trying to be anything that it's not. It pokes fun at the genre, it reinvents the genre, and it does an absolutely fabulous job of it. And let's be honest, it's not scary in the traditional sense. It's loud, it's outrageous, and downright ridiculous. But it is endlessly entertaining. And finally, special features. Arrow has absolutely packed this release full of special features. We've got audio commentaries. We have got a shed load of featurettes. Quite notably, a really interesting one is around the FX. There was quite a lot of drama and firings on this film within the special effects team, so that's a really interesting watch, and that is on the UHD disc. There is nothing new on these discs. It's a lot of archival stuff, 2011, 2012, some stuff that's been spliced into certain featurettes from like 2016, but it is a very good compilation of special features that you get all in one package. Also, on this limited edition, you get an extra Blu-ray disc, which is called More Brains. This is a Region B Blu-ray disc. It features the 2011 feature-length documentary around the making of the film, which has like exclusive cast and crew interviews on there. Also on that disc, you have a bunch more special features. Interviews with the director, the Return of the Living Dead today, so like filming locations and stuff like that. It is a really, really bulky package. And for a Return of the Living Dead fan, you get so much in this package. So, is Arrow's 4K of Return of the Living Dead worth picking up? I would say absolutely. I mean, even for the artwork alone, Orlando's done a wonderful job in this new commissioned work. It is one of those boutique releases that celebrates why physical media is great. A beautiful transfer, an absolutely killer package, and a real respect for this film's legacy 40 years on. The movie might be wild and weird and just totally over the top and has some very interesting scenes, but that's exactly what makes this film so much fun. If you're a horror fan or a collector or just love that 80s punk energy, then this deserves a place on your shelf. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Cue the Credits. I really appreciate you spending a little bit of time to talk movies with me. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to stick around and talk movies with me. And talking about talking movies, what is your favourite scene from Return of the Living Dead? Let me know in the comments down below. And also, while you're there, share this video with your friends if they're horror, 80s, zombie, physical media fans. It'd be great to have everyone around. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace!